To build anything that truly lasts, it takes time.
Let's keep the conversation going and let's welcome on board our guests for this show today. We have Mr. Deepak Shenoy, CEO at Capital Mind Mutual Funds, joining us, and we have Sharan, who's back with us on the technicals. Deepak, we'll come to you first. Give us a sense of what you're seeing in the market move today. The lackluster moves continue on the street. What are you making of the market momentum right now, and how should investors just pace themselves, because sluggishness is what we've seen over the last couple of weeks?
I think this calls on, honestly, for a little bit of patience, because I think this is a point where markets are going to be kind of waiting for a trigger for some kind of a directional move ahead. I think the largely because of a very bullish market last year, we've got a high that perhaps as the market reaches that point, a natural behavioral tendency is that people sell as the market comes towards that last high, and every time that those sells happen, the market kind of remains that in this range bound kind of a situation. And in the lack of a major trigger, and that major trigger could be in the form of changes in the geopolitical regimes. There have been some positive changes recently, but a generally larger change, more definitive clarity, whether it is from tariffs or from other points of the ecosystem, and an idea about earnings, because earnings are just trickling in. And as more and more earnings trickle in and come in, I think we'll be able to see, which of the sectors, which of the industries will or have done better or will do better, based on the commentary as well. I think that is going to be the one that drives um, markets to move, but it will have to pass this psychological barrier of the last high, so that the behavior can change from kind of a range bound trading zone to more trend oriented or momentum oriented. Markets flirt with each part of this ecosystem over time. So it's been about a year or so since momentum was in play, and we've got range bound trading, range bound markets for so long. It usually goes back into that kind of a trending zone, after a year or two. uh, and deeply negative news, you could see something bad as well. But overall, I feel, there needs to be some kind of a trigger. But otherwise, this is the time to be patient. It's not a time to look for some big sudden changes. In individual stocks, you'll see some changes have already happened. Last 3 months, I think some stocks have gone up significantly simply because of change commentary. So that's where probably the action will lie, individual stocks rather than the market itself.
All right, so that's the take coming in on the markets. Nothing really happening much on the index front, but yes, indeed, a lot of stock specific action. And we also have Sharan with us on the show right now. And yes, Sharan, one of the stocks where you happened to catch a very strong move was Piramal Enterprise. But now, help us with the update that after almost more than 4% of the move in today's trading session, what should be the strategy here?
So, Srishti, I think the stock is up around 6%, and in the past 2 days, I think it's up around 12 odd percent. So I think it'll consolidate for a while. Though we have given bigger targets, I think our first target was achieved today itself around 2019. So you can expect some kind of dip in the stock of around 1 or 2%, and that will be again a good time to have a new strategy who has not made a long position in the stock to create a buy on dip strategy till around 12,1250 odd levels. So the stock is still very strong. And if you see the volumes, back to back 2 days of very high volume, today's volume beats yesterday's volume. I think one of the largest volumes in the last, I think, 6 odd months since August 24, I think so. Very high volume. So I think the stock will continue its positive momentum, but you can do a buy on dip strategy till 1250. You can see higher levels in the coming weeks or so.
Strong move coming in on Piramal Enterprises today, 6% higher right now, and last 6 months in fact the stock is higher by about 27%. But Sharon, coming back to you, give us a sense on Eternal, the chart check on Eternal, because a very sharp spike up is what we had seen. The stock has fizzled out from the day's highest point, but nonetheless continues to be the top 50 Nifty 50 gainer today. What are the charts indicating for Eternal on the upside, if at all? Where are you spotting?
So, Sneha, I think on Friday we spoke about Eternal. I said if it breaks about 695, you could see a good 2 to 3% rally, and I think it has achieved that. But on higher levels, you are seeing quite a bit of resistance. And in terms of volumes are not that high compared to last month. You're seeing quite a bit of volume in the last month, so you can see a little bit of profit taking at these levels. So now overall a resistance for the stock becomes at 280. It can again retest levels of around 265 and maybe consolidate for another 2 or 3 weeks before making a move. So I think between 265 and 280, the stock can consolidate for the next 2 weeks, and it has a good support of around 260 odd levels.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Eternal. But Deepak, the other stock that is in focus today is actually Ola Electric. Since you were just talking about how the earnings pan out, that will be the key to watch out for. And Deepak, maybe the markets are finding resilience in the fact that the commentary and the promises made yet again sound very optimistic, wherein the management has set their volume target of over 3 lakhs unit for FY26. They have set a revenue target of over 4,200 crores to be achieved in this particular quarter. Onto the margin front, there are promises made, but Deepak, the question still lies that should one really trust these promises right now? Is the tide really turning for Ola Electric? Is the worst behind? And is this 15% move on the stock is justified? Help us with your take on Ola Electric.
Yeah, I can't comment on individual stocks, but in general, I think the two-wheeler space is perhaps just getting started. I think we are seeing a bunch of changes with respect to how people are
All
viewing
right.
electric.
Deepak, I believe that we have got you on a little bit of patchy line. We'll try to connect back on you to have your take on the electric two-wheeler space rather. So we'll come back to you, but time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.